welcome to the Karen Mitches podcast. Yay. Today we have Ryan Durgy.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited as well. It's August. Do you get August sadness at all?
You know, I love the summer, and people were like, oh, once the CNE starts, it means the end of summer. And I'm like, no, I think until the weather changes, it's still summer in my mind.
Yes.
So I think it's weird because I love the summer, but then the fall has like certain smells and like a certain vibe that I get into. And I kind of do love fall fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of channeling that today. Like, it's way too hot for this outfit, but I am channeling like a fall winter fashion vibe.
Yeah. Usually I have a moment in summer or in August when I get bored of summer.
Yeah.
And then I'll get really excited about back to school. Which
oh, really?
I still celebrate as a season, but it's just me buying fall clothes.
Yes.
And I usually buy them like too early, and I can't. Yeah, like you can't wear your new jeans when it's still summer weather. Like sometimes till like September 20th.
Yeah, unless you're on a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know when this is coming out, so maybe we're celebrating Thanksgiving right now. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've been wanting to get on this podcast for a while, and I've watched a bunch of your interviews, and you're so great with the guests.
Thank you so much. Most people, I respect that most people just watch the clips, but even if you just watch the clips, that makes me feel like really good.
No, I've watched some episodes too. I've watched some episodes, and they're great. And I don't know, do you remember how we met?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we met
before I was even in comedy.
You just came out, and you were like, in my
mind.
Well,
it didn't just come out like that. Come out. That's a bit.
You'd already come out. But I feel like my first impression of you was you were just like a fun guy that I hung out with at the bar.
Oh, thanks. I remember. So basically, the story goes is that my friend Alex Drobin, shout out Alex Drobin.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex. He did stand-up comedy at Second City, the course, which you did with him, right?
No,
I think,
no. We weren't in the same class, but I had done it before him, and then he came out to the lab.
Because he knew you, though, didn't he? Or did he just meet you at the lab?
He just met me at the lab.
Oh, my goodness. I thought you guys were friends for a while because he introduced me to you at the lab. I hadn't gone into comedy at all. He was going to try to get on a mic.
Yeah.
You were trying to get on the mic. And I remember like talking to you about comedy, and maybe even you were like, you should try. Like someone in that group was like, you should try it. And I was like, I'm not nervous about getting up on stage. I'm nervous that I don't have the content yet.
Yeah.
So, and then
but
that inspired me.
You had like a really fun and funny vibe.
Oh, thanks.
So, and I think people think, okay, obviously to do stand-up comedy professionally is another thing, but just to do the class, I feel like more people should give themselves a chance.
Yes.
Because even if it's just that one experience of like you put together 5 minutes and your friends and family came out, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then like you actually were like quite a natural though, right?
Like, oh, thanks. Yeah, I ended up, after Alex told me about that Second City course, I ended up signing up for it. I put it off for a while, and then my family was like, whatever happened to you wanting to do stand-up? I'm like, oh, the money or this or that. And they're like, just sign up. Like other people have volleyball, right? In the summer, or they have whatever. And you're not really into, my family. You've seen my family. They're very fit and athletic. So their idea of activities is like a marathon or an Ironman or things like that. That's not my vibe. So they're like, you should do something creative, And I was like, okay, fine. So I signed up, paid the $400 or whatever it was, and I did like 7 or 8 weeks of the Second City course and met some really great people. And my mindset was, even if I never do it again after that performance, because you perform at the end of the Second City course at Second City, it will still be fun creatively. I'll meet people. Yeah. Maybe I'll meet my future husband. I didn't. Spoiler alert.
But people do meet their spouses at Second City.
Yes, they do.
It's one of the spaces.
It is.
Like if you didn't marry your college sweetheart, the next space is like either your job or like your grown-up activities.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just a vibe. You go, and like mine was at night, so it was like 6 to 9 p.m. or whatever the time, and you get creative, you do group stuff, you write on your own, you ask people, oh, like, what do you think of this? and it was fun. And then
Yeah.
I performed, and people like outside of just my friends or family were laughing, and even like the straight bros that came to see like this guy in my class, they were laughing at my stuff, like you know, some of the gay stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I can perform this elsewhere. And then I think I started to do open mics, and then you know, like you do open mics and you meet people who produce shows, and then they're like, oh, I like your stuff, come do this show.
Yeah.
And that's how it started for me just over a year ago.
It's funny that you mentioned the straight bros.
Yeah.
For me, like the compliments I like are like younger people who don't date women. So, because I kind of expect like women my age to get my jokes,
Yeah.
but like younger women or like I feel like 20 somethings, because I'm like, well, I must be out of touch by now and my jokes won't make sense.
Yeah.
So if like a 23-year-old gay dude is like, you were fired.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I was fired.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is like the younger crowds, when they're laughing too, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like in, you know, like I'm cool to them. But then also in the older crowds too, for me, that's like a big thing as well. Cause I'm like, oh, is this going to be like too much for them? You know? And then they laugh and I'm like, oh, okay, good.
And there's something too, because some of I think a lot of my material is a bit like, I don't know, it's rooted in a younger person's culture, like at least as young as me. So sometimes like I make jokes about incels, but I think there's a way to make a joke that it transcends, even if you like, I feel like the context of it, people get what an incel is, even if you don't spend your set like spelling it out to the older crowd or people from other countries.
Yeah.
So, and I think just like kind of talking slowly for anyone who's maybe not, who needs context clues or who isn't super great at English.
Sometimes even I've done it where I do like a little line in there to explain what it is in case people don't get it. And I do it in a way where it's like, oh, like you guys know, and then I'll say what it is, because then the people that already know what it is, they feel like, okay, like he's not like being condescending by explaining this. And the people who don't know are like, okay, good. Like now I get it, you know? So sometimes I've done that before.
Yeah. Because you have a lot of stuff around, like, I think, like, gay culture that isn't, like, hyper-specific.
Yes.
But it's, like, it's not everyone isn't in that world.
Yes.
And I think some women are, because they're, like, culturally into some of the same stuff, so the language overlaps. But some people, they're not watching certain types of media, and they don't have gay friends, so they might need a little...
100%. And when I first started, it was a bit of a wake-up call, because I did Second City, it did well, and it wasn't like super specific to that, but there were some of that. And then I was like, oh, this is really funny to me, or like this is really funny to the people that I know. And then I did the Bucket show at Comedy Bar.
Oh yeah, that's a different vibe.
It's a very different vibe than like Comedy Lab.
Very male.
Very like straight bro. Maybe it's changed, but when I was there, it was very like straight, and it was a great show. And I'm so grateful for Tim Blair and all the people there.
There's more people there who are talking and like maybe yelling something out. It's a bit more like a concert than a comedy show. Yeah,
and I performed there, and the stuff that I'd worked in the past, people still laughed, but it was different. And that's when I realized, oh wait, I need to change up my set. So even if I'm talking about the gay stuff, it can relate to everyone. So it's not just a gay story, it's a dating story, you know, like things like that. And I'm so grateful for that night that I went up, because I don't know if I would consider it a bomb, but I didn't get the same types of laughs or as big of a laugh, or you could feel people pull back a bit. And it was still a great experience, because then I rewrote my set and even wrote new jokes or like reworded things. And then I started doing that, and then I started getting even bigger laughs. And so it was nice, because I expanded my stuff so that even if it's a scenario or experience specific to me, how can I make it so that the audience can put themselves in my shoes or relate to it in some way? Like maybe they've been on a bad date, you know?
Yeah, which I like that a lot, because I feel like you are very accessible. And maybe there's like other gay comedians who are like very famous, but it's probably because they've also worked at that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I want to say too, like when you say it wasn't a bomb, there's something to it that, like being able to like not just, oh, it's a really great performance or it's just total shit performance, but when it's somewhere in the middle, being able to pull out like the nuances and understand what happened.
100%.
Because when you're really new, like, it's just enough that you're on stage. I think sometimes you can't learn anything because you're like, like you sort of finish and you don't know what happened.
Yeah. No, you're so right. And we talked about this right before we started the podcast is you were mentioning, I hope this is fine. I feel like it's fine. You were mentioning how like some comedians may try a story scenario and they bomb, and then like they may bomb and then they never touch stories again because they're like, okay, stories aren't my thing. Meanwhile, maybe that story just didn't work. So when you talk about like, maybe it's good you didn't completely bomb, not that it would have stopped me from doing comedy, but maybe if I would have completely bombed, I'd be like questioning, like, is this the right, whereas like I still got laughs, but it wasn't the same type of laughs. And then I realized, okay, there's something here, but I need to just deliver it in a way or write new jokes that can still be my experience, but relate to all different types of audiences, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a really good way of looking at it.
For sure. I think, more to my point about stories, there's something like if you're just saying an opinion on something, you kind of naturally can get a lot of punchlines in. But when you're telling a story, there's lots of background information, so you're not getting punchlines till later. Sometimes there's only one punchline in a story, and if you tell your friends at a party, they're interested in you socially, so they don't mind all that setup. But in stand-up, you have to make people laugh like every 15 seconds or they get bored. So a lot of people who are funny in real life try something on stage and they're like, oh, I guess I can't do comedy. Or if they've been doing jokes on stage and they try a story, they're like, oh, I guess I'm not a storyteller.
Yeah.
But you are. You just have to jam a bunch of punchlines into the front of your story.
Yeah. No, that's a really, like, because even especially when you meet, I seem to meet all these, like, straight bros everywhere, like, at parties and stuff. And the minute, straight bros love stand-up comedy. Let me just say that. Like, the minute I mention that, they're, like, so interested in me. I'm like, okay. They love talking about it. But a lot of these straight dudes are like, oh, I've always wanted to try, or I think I would do well, or they're like, oh, I could never, But I think that a lot of people think that just because you have a funny story means that you can do stand-up. And it's not to say you can't, but as you probably learned in Second City as well, and maybe the other courses that are out there, it's the structure of telling the story. It's not just like, what's the funny part? Because exactly, the people, when you're telling a funny story to your friends and they're dying laughing, they also know you socially.
Yeah.
Whereas this crowd just met you.
Yeah.
So how do you tell a story where they can connect with you and then you can make them laugh? And the 15-second thing is like great, but sometimes people build it up and then at the end there's a huge laugh or there's a payoff or they pull back a bit and then the end brings them together and they laugh. But like, I think that sometimes people spend too much time getting to the punchline. And I remember learning about that in Second City is like, they expect more from you and your punchline if you take forever to get there.
Yeah. So it has to be big. If you wait. I love the whole like learning about the structure.
Me too.
Of things.
Yeah.
It's been so helpful, and it doesn't ruin the magic of it for me anyway, because even like once you understand the rules and you're playing within them, there's still like the endless amount of variation. And when you see other people doing shit, like I think I'm 2.5 years in and I still learn shit all the time.
Oh yeah. Same. I'm just over a year in and I'm still learning, like there was probably maybe 6 months ago or something, I was watching, I tried like callbacks before, like for those out there, it's like, you do a joke maybe earlier in your set and then later on you call back to it in some ways, and audiences usually seem to love it as long as it's like a good callback and they can remember it. And then I watched Shane Gillis's special on Netflix, and he did such a good callback. I think it's right at the end of his special to an earlier joke. I'm like, oh, that's so good. And then I'm like, how can I do this in my set? And then I did it, and people liked it. And so that was just something that I like knew about it or maybe tried it, but seeing another comedian pull it off, you're like, there is such structure to comedy. And I think a lot of these people that watch comedy just kind of in their day-to-day, I think it comes across so naturally because these comedians are so good, but there is structure behind what they're doing.
I think the callback is kind of like when you have like references with your friend group.
Yeah.
But it's like if I'm talking to you for like my 10-minute set, I can just make a reference point. This is just 5 minutes ago, but
Yeah.
it has the same thing as like if I'm mentioning, oh, that time when we got hammered or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's a it makes something feel. It makes it feel like there's a friendship.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And do you remember when we went to that Mike in the Village?
Oh my God, I was hoping you would bring that up.
No, you were great on it.
No, I was hoping you would bring it up.
Would bring it up. I thought you said would. I'm like, you killed that. You crushed it. I don't know why that just popped into my head.
That was like, I feel like that's such a good example of like just the shit that makes me glad I do stand up, because it is these like random little like events that are so fun, and maybe it didn't do anything for my career, but I loved that
It
night.
was fun. It was like we went to this mic, I think it was on like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something, and it was like a music mic, so it was mostly people singing.
Yeah. So the bar is called O'Grady's,
Yeah.
and it's in the Village, and there's these two drag queens that host it,
Yeah.
and they're doing show tunes, so the
Yeah.
audience has come out to sing show tunes
Yeah.
and watch their friends perform show tunes.
Like I was worrying a bit, like when they started doing show tunes and everyone's singing along, I'm like, how are they going to respond to us doing comedy?
Well, because music is such a beautiful thing.
It is.
And then to interrupt it with like your jokes you're still figuring out
Yeah.
is almost like an asshole thing. So it was Ryan, me, and Steve DeGay.
Yes.
He's like an older gay dude. He's really hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they spaced us out, so it was like mostly music, and then we would come up.
Yeah.
I loved that night.
I did too, and I think one of the things that you and I talked about that we did love, well, first of all, the crowd was amazing.
Yeah.
They were very open to the comedy, which I feel like we loved. But you remember they were like, you and I were like, oh, how much time do we get? Because we're used to like 3-4 minutes at some of these
you'll get
mics,
the
maybe
light,
5.
Don't run the light.
Like, they were like, whatever you want to do. Do you remember that they were very much like however long you want to do? I think they were like, if you're doing 30 minutes, maybe it's a lot. But you and I, therefore, didn't feel, I think, the pressure of a time where it's like, okay, we can actually kind of interact with the crowd in between our jokes. And I'm not really a crowd work comic, at least at this point in my career.
Yeah, me neither.
But we did it though, because we could.
And because the fucking drag queens are so fun.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they were, especially the one, was kind of interrupting a bit.
Yeah.
And she
chiming
just
in.
had like a fun personality.
Yeah.
And then it was easy to just be funny with her.
It was.
Like,
yeah.
she was, I don't know, carrying it sort of.
Yeah.
And then we just were, I feel like I had a funner set
Yeah.
than I typically do. And it kind of begs the question, like, do we need all mics to be run by drag queens?
That, you know what? That's a really good idea, because drag queens are just so naturally funny, and they're really good hosts, right?
Yeah.
And they do kind of do a lot of stand-up in a way, but I feel like as a hosting role, they're really good because they can transition between the acts, and they can even like read you.
Yeah.
Like if you kind of bomb, I feel like they could like read you after and kind of like make the audience laugh and bring the energy back up.
Yeah.
So, hey, that could be a good idea for your next mic if you end up doing another one.
I feel like I want to be just maybe like have more of a mentality like when I'm hosting, like, am I bringing like what a drag queen, like, obviously I'm not gonna bring that level of energy, but just maybe more like
Yeah. Like it's just that vibe of just going with the flow. And I mean, it helps that they have like the big hair and the makeup and the outfit. It's, already you're like, okay, you're fun, but I do think that they have like such an energy about it. And I feel like you bring a good vibe. Like I remember your Sunday mic at Teddy Bear. You did it for like a while, and I went to it a couple times, and it was always such a good vibe. It felt like a very non-judgment zone where you can try new stuff, and there was audience there.
Yeah.
It wasn't just comics, which can be tough sometimes to get audience into a show.
for sure.
So yeah, I mean, hey, that could be your next mic that you run.
I feel like Burhan and I, because we hosted that together,
Yeah.
and I think we both naturally create a non-judgmental vibe, but we also like impose almost like no authority on anyone. So sometimes we had like some like toxicity that would take over, like if there was like a malignant personality, like we
Oh.
didn't know how to like control the show to some extent. So I feel like it is nice to be like the kind of like chill, everyone's welcome. You
Yeah.
want that vibe.
Oh yeah.
But you can also still say like say some rules and like tell some people to calm down or shut up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So another thing I wanted to bring up was just the Yuck Yucks competition.
Yes.
Because that was sort of like my biggest thing this summer.
Yeah.
And I know you were in it as well.
Yeah. And your set went really well from what I heard.
Yes. So neither of us, I guess I'm going to just explain this. So
Yes.
every like Tuesday and Wednesday for July and August, Yuck Yucks is running this competition. So each night there's like 8 people performing 8-minute sets, and then each night has one winner, and then they're all going to go in September to a semifinal and then a final, and they could win $2,500.
Yeah.
So neither of us won our night.
No.
But are we both kind of feeling like we did win? Like,
I felt so happy with that set, and I would agree with you. I feel like that was my biggest show of the summer.
yeah,
If
like
not,
it was a packed house.
Yeah, packed house. I had like family come and friends come, which was really nice. I probably had like 10 people there. I would say the
Yeah.
crowd was probably maybe 75 people, 80 people, maybe more. It was a good crowd. Like, I know we were on different nights, but I
Yeah.
think your night had a lot of people in the
Yeah.
crowd too.
We were almost a full house. And so
Wow.
it was the biggest crowd I played to all summer. I went bullet, which I usually
Oh, wow.
don't do.
Number one.
And like, yeah, I didn't win, but I was like, I was like impressed with my set.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that crowd and that night, and I felt so good about the set after. I got at least one clip out of it, a couple of clips maybe.
Yeah.
And the crowd was just so responsive, and it was a really fun show. And I felt like I won in a way too, like not actually won, but just like won personally, because it was such a big show to do, and to get that kind of audience reaction and people coming up to me after the show, because you have it like, good job.
Yeah.
I would be in the stairwell walking in the bathroom, and someone would be like, oh, you that was a really great set, you know? And then like someone asked for a photo with me after the show, and I was like, oh,
amazing.
it felt like so energizing, and you're like, okay, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say like, it feels like winning even if you don't win.
Yeah.
You know, no matter, you know, where you were in the set list or the crowd reaction, even performing on that stage just feels like a win, because it's so iconic.
And I think we're oftentimes doing like smaller shows, or shows that like maybe weren't like run super well, and then to be on a show that was just like what a show is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think the way they chose the nights, I think because they didn't have a lot of information on the comics, and I think they just looked at how many years you were in it, and they mixed up each night.
Oh.
But inadvertently, I think they gave a variety.
Yes.
So like, nobody on my night, you weren't watching like 7 of the same type of comics. Like, it was 8 people doing like different styles.
Yeah.
And then
you're right.
I've been out to see a few other people's nights, and sometimes I just look at the list and I'm like, yeah, that's a good variation.
Yeah.
So the audience, I think, doesn't get bored.
Yeah.
It's just like a good time.
Good time, good vibes, and I got to meet Mark Breslin.
Yes. So, like, meeting Mark, I guess, is maybe like the main reason why that was like such a win for me.
Same.
Because he's like, I guess, the biggest celebrity within like Toronto comedy.
Yeah, maybe even Canadian comedy,
like,
or
he has
beyond.
like the Order of Canada, which is like,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Oh.
It's like in England if you were knighted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. I mean, he's such a legend, and he's been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
And has clubs all over. That was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Because I remember you telling me that you had talked to him and gotten feedback and stuff.
Yeah,
so I was like,
because I sort of like, when the show ended, he was sitting in a booth, so I just like went over and I was like, can I sit down with you? And he was like, it was like he was waiting for me, so he was like, sit down. And then I got some positive feedback, I got some critical feedback, but it made me feel like he didn't tell me to quit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah.
No, it gives you even more energy to continue what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if he can see something in you, and he has a lot of experience himself and seeing so many comics on that stage, So for him to recognize something like in you is a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, it's not like a profession where, like, you go to college, you get your diploma, you get an articling position or a mentor. Like, there's almost no, like, milestones, if you will. Like, you're just kind of out there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
In a way, being like, am I
Yeah.
on a track?
It's true. Yeah. There's no like certificate. It's like little milestones that you're meeting as you go,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah. So we can check that one off the list. Is that
Okay, so I have another one that arbitrary that I've just made up, but I've decided I need to do a roast battle.
Ooh.
Have you done one?
I've never done one. I wonder if I'd like feel bad. I guess you're in a roast.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I would say something and I'm like, oh, like, sorry, I didn't mean, like in the moment, like in the moment I'd feel so good about it because I'm like, oh, this is funny. And then like, depending on the reaction, I'd be like, I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's
so you could
funny
do
that
yeah.
you worried about hurting the other person's feelings, because I was thinking like, well, what if they say some stuff to
Oh,
me?
I'm like, whatever. You know what? You know what's so funny about that? Before I was a comedian, I feel like that stuff would affect me more. But then now that I'm a comedian and, sometimes the hosts will say something about your set or like in between.
Yeah,
and
or just your vibe.
Yeah,
or
or
what you wore that day.
what you wore, like do a little like dig at you or like another comedian.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. I'm like, oh, I made an impact on them a little bit that they're going to bring it up. And I think it's funny.
It's
yeah.
sort of like, in one way, I realize I just like all attention. And then in another way, it's less personal because you realize like their job is to make people laugh. So like if you were a little awkward or there's something about you, like they're just finding something to serve the audience. It's not they didn't spend all night thinking about it.
No, and it's exaggerated. Like even if they say something negative about you or your whatever, like they are doing whatever someone may think looking at you, and they're doing an exaggerated version of it. I feel like in those roast battles. Yeah. So that's how I would take it. No, I'd be more worried about saying something and then like hurting their feelings. I know they can say whatever. It's fine.
And I think comedians are secretly, there's a lot of people who can't take a joke.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Or just people who think a lot about the way other people see them. So they might take most of it funny and then get hung up on one thing you said.
Yeah. And I'm like, and you have to see these people around. The Toronto comic scene.
I guess there's people who do stuff on stage about how much they can't handle criticism. So I'm just not gonna. If I see one of those people across from me, I'm like, no, I won't.
So you want to organize one, or you want to be a part of one?
I want to be a part of one.
Okay.
I think there's like a few, like they have a strip one at Joker's.
Oh, I think I've heard about this. Wait, when do you take off a piece of clothing?
I think it's like each round somebody wins it, and then the other person
has to take off a piece of clothing.
So
okay.
If you made funny or disses on me, I take off a piece of clothing for that round.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't enter that. No one wants to see me. No one wants to see me doing that.
But I think you can just think
just
about
kidding.
how many rounds there are,
Yeah.
and then have enough layers that you feel safe with where you got down to.
I'm gonna wear like a parka, a sweater, an undershirt, like leggings under the jeans. No. I think that's fun. I feel like I've seen a comedian post about that, like on his story or something, and all of a sudden he had his shirt off on stage, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
I heard this thing too that's like, roasts are a good way to find out more material about yourself.
Ooh.
So and sometimes people have jokes that they open with that they'll tell you they got it from someone making fun of them. And then
yes.
they're like, oh yeah, I do look like the blah blah whatever.
Yes.
And you're actually really good at seeing yourself, but I feel like I sometimes miss my own identity. Like I'm not, it's like vague or harder for me to find it.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Like I can talk about myself if I'm revealing something big, but I have trouble to talk about myself on like a lighter sense of just
so that people get to know you and connect with you.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. A roast is a good way of seeing that. I remember in Second City, I don't know if you guys did this. You probably did this as well, but I remember like it was one of the first few classes, and our teacher Leanne, who is hilarious. Did you have Leanne too?
She the roller skating.
Yes. Yes.
I love her so much.
She's
I've never
great.
had her as a teacher though.
Oh yeah, she's a great teacher.
Her tag is like joke lady haha.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out Leanne.
Shout out Leanne.
She's hilarious. And I remember like there was a time and they were like, okay, take out your notebooks and spend the next 20 minutes writing everything you hate about yourself. I'm like paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure that was it. And I remember being like, this is tough if you've done therapy, which is true. Because
some people are like, I hate my big nose. And then you're like, I hate my attitude towards my father.
And I was like, because my jokes before that was more like, it was more story times and like maybe bad dates that I've been on and stuff. And then I like wrote out all these like self-deprecating things. And I like, you would read it to the class after. And the class was like dying laughing at this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I need to do more of that. Obviously, it doesn't have to be my whole set, but I didn't even thought about like going that route. Obviously, some of your stories can be self-deprecating, but like I was going in more on it. And so when you say that about the roast battles, that does make me think that you can be inspired by some of the material because that is other people's impression of you, right? Like if I'm doing my self-deprecating, what I wrote out and people are laughing at certain things more than others, I'm like, wait, so they think that about me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I can write a bit on this. Yeah.
There's something like that's so, like some people on stage, like their jokes aren't hitting, and it's because like the audience doesn't believe them, and it can just be weird. Like somebody who looks really conservative is trying to tell a partying story, and you're like, I don't think this guy parties.
No, you're right. Or like a good-looking guy is talking about how he doesn't get laid or something, and it's like, dude, yeah, I think you do. Like you've probably seen that where it's like a really good looking guy on stage and it's self-deprecating. It's like, well, he has to do a different type of self-deprecating. And I've seen that too, where like a good looking guy kind of addresses that he's good looking, but he addresses it in a way that's like humbling or self-deprecating. You're like, you got this.
I see it a lot with like attractive women who are
sorry
no worries.
I almost knocked over the mic.
Attractive women who are really new, if they talk about their level of attractiveness, is always off-putting because I think like a lot of women compare themselves to women who are professionally attractive. So they're like, I'm not hot because I don't look like Kylie Jenner. Yeah. And it's like, but what about other women in the room with you?
Exactly. No, that's such a good point.
And you sound spoiled, like a rich person who's like thinks they're poor because they don't have a yacht.
Yeah. I think female comics have it the toughest sometimes. I don't know if you've experienced that. I think there's like audiences and stuff because you get like the straight bros. So if you're doing stuff that's your story, it's like, well, you want their laughter too. And then sometimes they'll be on dates, but then like, is she gonna laugh if he's not laughing? Like, I don't know. I've seen it where it's, I don't know if it's misogyny or what, but I've seen it where it's like a female comedian goes on after someone that I thought like did okay, and then the female comedian set is like, I think better, but the laughs weren't the same. It obviously depends on the crowd, but have you experienced that at all?
Okay. There's, I think the thing that happens is like women know how to hear a man's story through his eyes, but straight men will hear my story through their own eyes. So they'll be offended by like the craziest shit.
Really?
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like they're on the guy's side, even if the guy's side doesn't make sense, and they'll have trouble just like getting that your story. And then, like, and then there's like a weird thing where I think women are harder on women in a way like men aren't hard on other men.
Yes,
so it's like
you're right.
You have like a bunch of men who like can't hear your story because they can only hear their story. Yeah. And then you have girls who are like mad at you because like you didn't say it the way they would have said it. Or like, and it's just like, can everyone cut me a break?
Yeah. No, you're right. So I mean, I think the fact that already like that can be tough sometimes depending on the room, and it's almost like they expect more, you know? And I think that you've done a really good job at like breaking through that and doing bits that relate to everyone in the room, right? Like I've seen you perform multiple times, and I feel like your bits can relate to anyone in the room, and that's why you get the laughs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I think you have to like I do a lot of jokes that are directly mean to men. So as much as like they might not like understand my story about a date I went on, they will laugh at me straight up mocking them.
I think also they'll laugh knowing that like, oh yeah, I could believe that a dude would do that.
Yeah.
Like, even if they want to deny that they would, even though they may. Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think like, oh, I'm in a room with this type of person, so I shouldn't make fun of this type of person.
Mm-hmm.
But you should. That's who, like, people like attention. So if you go into a room full of bros and you're like, hey bros, you guys are dumb. Like, if it's a funny punchline, like, they like that because it's like, it's about them. Like, they don't want to hear a story about other people.
100%. It's funny up until it's like, I feel like the bros don't like insinuating that they're gay. Like, not that I've done that, but I've done like bits where I've like kind of like hit on the bros, but like made a joke about it.
Unlocked.
Yeah, like depending on the guy, sometimes it's like an insecurity where it's like, it's just, we're doing like a bit, it's on stage. So I think that like the ones that kind of boost their ego in a way, but you're making fun of them, but you're boosting their ego, you know? Like I've seen like even like women comics point out like a bunch of bros and be like, oh, you look, it was Ali
Maui?
No
Ali
it was a female comic. Ali, why am I forgetting her last name right now?
Pierce?
Yes, Ali Pierce does she did like such a good bit with that when I was on the same show as her, and she pointed out a bunch of like hockey bros in the front row, and she was like, this looks like a row of my exes, or like something like that, and she made like hockey bro jokes with them and about them, and it's like kind of a dig at them, but also they're like, oh cool, like that's like what I'm giving off, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think it depends on like how you're ripping on them, because you know, like especially straight men, their ego can be fragile sometimes.
I think sometimes what people think they're failing at ripping on the audience because the audience isn't like taking it well, but it's like you've pegged them wrong. So some people will see a bunch of guys and they'll be like, this is a bunch of bros, and they won't realize like these guys are nerdier than you think, like gayer than you think. Like you have to make fun of the type, like you have to peg them right, or it's they're not being a bad sport, they're just like confused, right? Like if I assumed you were straight and started saying a bunch of shit to me, you'd just be like, what?
Yeah, and then it's like, do I go along with it? Right? If they're in the audience, it's like, do I go along with it? Because I want the bit to go well. But yeah, they may pull back a bit. That's so true.
Okay, so you were saying earlier about like your family being really fit.
Yes.
I kind of love seeing your family for some reason when they come out. Like I feel like, are you from like can you just tell me more about your family?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest. I have two siblings. So my brother is 2 years younger than me, and my sister is 6 years younger than me. And then I have my mom and dad, and all of them except me are very athletic. Like I'm talking like my sister got a full ride scholarship to UCLA for track. Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
I'm talking like my brother just a couple weeks ago ran it's called the Canadian Death Race. And it's like, I think it's 2 or 3, I think maybe almost 3 marathons in one day. You have to do it within 24 hours. So you're like doing stops and eating quickly and then continuing. And you're doing it through the Rockies. He did it out west, like through the Rockies, the Rocky Mountains. And then my dad's in his 60s training for an Ironman currently.
Your parents kind of, like, I thought they were maybe young for their age, which I guess 60 isn't that young.
But they look young.
Not young for their age, but like young for your age.
Right.
Yeah, they look young and they seem cool.
They are cool,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, and my mom, like, has run marathons and she bikes. They're all fit, and, like, it just never has interested me. Like, I played hockey until I was 12, and I watched, like, a video the other day, like a VHS, because I got all these things digitized. And I'm like, oh, look, I was athletic. Like, here's proof of my, like, hockey game at, like, 6 years old, right? Yeah. And I'm like spinning circles on the ice. I'm like spinning in circles. Like, you know, I'm playing hockey, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm doing like a Britney Spears concert in the middle of, you know?
Spinning like you're having.
Oh yeah, sorry. Like I'm
doing like a little dance.
Oh, I'm like figure skating on the ice in the middle of a competitive hockey game because, like, just imagine that. Like, you know, that my mind was somewhere else. Yeah. And my dad since has said, you know, like, and they were always very supportive. I think because he was hockey and like college baseball and all that. Yeah. My brother ended up being like the hockey guy and all that. But I think he looks back and he's like, I wish I would have got you into like acting or something even sooner.
Or figure skating.
Yeah, I was a great skater. Like everyone, you know, he would say that as well. And so I think when I was like 12 or so, I stopped doing hockey. and I started doing musical theater. And I did a lot of like plays and stuff. We lived in California for a bit, and I did. Was
that just like your parents' work?
Yeah, my dad moved his business to the States, and we moved with him to Huntington Beach, Orange County, California.
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally the OC. Literally the OC.
But I guess like no one calls it that.
People call it the OC, but I never watched that show. And literally within my first year of being there, I was like 12 or 13. I met Marissa, I think is her name on the show, of the OC, the redhead. She was like down the street at our neighbor's place just hanging out. Super nice, wonderful woman. Really cool person. And I'm like, wait, I'm meeting the person, and like everyone talks about, the OC, like the show.
Yeah.
And it literally, even the high school that I went to, was very much what you would think of out of like a movie. Like palm trees, you walk outside to your classes. We did an outdoor pool. I like was on the swim team. The water polo kids are on the swim team between seasons. Like, oh yeah.
Because there's like a lot of high school teen shows show their like California high school, and it's kind of
like that.
That's crazy.
They do everything bigger. Like our football stadium was the size of, I would say, like a university stadium here. And you have like the homecoming, you have the cheerleaders, you have it was cool. It was like out of a movie.
Did you like that life? Like, so you were what ages?
This was from I think 13 until like 17. I was in California, so a big like chunk of those like developmental years, and it was cool because especially being into the arts, I did like Orange County Children's Theater, OCCT. I think they're still around, and they would do these big productions, and you could be in the show.
Oh shit!
I was never usually the main character. I was usually like night number 2 or like Eggman, you know, because you're competing against all these kids that like have agents. Yeah. Not all the time, but like they have like LA like talent agents, you know, and not all the time, but there's people that are stars. Like this is where a lot of these kids go.
Like playing football in Texas.
Literally.
Like, acting in California is fucking serious.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good way to put it. And then I ended up doing this this program called Commercial Recording Arts Department in school, CRAD. It's named something else now, I think MMET or something. And it was like a school of rock. So there were kids that were like guitarists, there were kids that were drummers, there were kids that were like bassists, and then there were singers. And I was a singer. And so I joined. I auditioned, I joined, and then I got to performing concerts. Like we were performing for hundreds of people in these concerts. I had like background singers, right?
That's crazy.
And they would like professionally film it. And
okay, so that makes so much sense though, because like you had such a strong like arrival in comedy, and I knew you had a musical theater background, but lots of people have a musical theater background. They don't have, I think, as much presence in like their first year.
Oh, thank you.
But like this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Like the stage, I've always been attracted to the stage ever since I was young. When I would go up and be in like a play, I remember I was like a pirate in Peter Pan or something, and I was like 7, right? This is when I was still in my hockey era. But I was like 7, and I remember like crying. I had one line. It was like, "Arr." Like that was it. And I was like crying. I was so nervous. And I still get nervous before sometimes my sets.
Yeah.
But once I get up on stage, once I actually get on stage, it's like, I feel like I'm like a different person. Like it turns on, it's good, it's fine. And I really enjoy it. So but you're right. Like the stage presence sometimes is the hardest part for some of these comedians.
Yeah.
They're so funny and they write so well, but then performing on stage can be a challenge.
So for me, like, I don't think I have like your level of like stage presence, but I do think there's something that cues in for me just being in front of people that's very natural. And I remember like I have trouble explaining this to people because I'll talk about like how I had a lot of anxiety in my life, and I'd have issues like just leaving the house. I'd be stressed out. And then people are like, oh, it's weird that you're in front of a crowd. But I'm like, at the height of my anxiety, I would still talk in class in university.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any anxiety around that. And if I was sitting in class with my own thoughts, I could be like having so much fear. But if I was just like expressing my opinion on the reading, then I wasn't worrying about anything. I'm just debating people. And it wouldn't occur to me to be worried about like expressing my opinion.
Oh.
But like I could have lots of other fears.
So you've always enjoyed, even if you were nervous, the public like speaking element or like the presenting element.
Like something about like the attention of a group of people is like puts me in a nice like focused frame of mind.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the rest of my life where I can't I can't concentrate, I'm bored, I'm nervous, I'm
Yeah.
like all these other problems. But like when I'm on stage or in front of people, it's like there is fear, but
Yeah.
it's also relaxing in the way your mind is focused.
Oh yeah, totally. And you do acting as well.
I
Right?
just started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How's that compared to being on a stage?
I'm not as good at it as I thought
No?
I would be. Like, I feel like I had to work a lot in like my intro class just to like not seem phony, like and performative on camera. And then I was really excited to kind of break through that. But then I found there's like this other layer, like with more emotional scenes that like it's hard for me to just be angry at a person, like act out an argument.
Yeah.
Because I like, even though I get angry in my real life, and that isn't hard for me, but it's like to show that when people are watching, like it's hard to get it out, and then it looks phony.
But maybe you're feeling that in your head. Like maybe you're feeling phony, whereas like you're just acting.
I think for me, it's literally like I'm embarrassed to be emotional in front of people.
Oh.
So I don't know how to act it out.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Like, and I feel the same where sometimes I'm acting or like when I've done acting in the past and I feel like a little bit like phony, or like it feels like I'm acting and I'm like, they know I'm acting, like, and I know I'm acting, you know? Whereas sometimes when I've done like a skit with someone or like an improv thing, you just become the character. And for me, I think it's like sometimes the actual lines, because I'm thinking, I don't know if that's the same with you, but I'm thinking about the lines and how I'm delivering the lines rather than just like, okay, this is like, I did a skit with some comedians recently.
No, improving is much easier because if I'm just like, I'm pretending I'm your boss.
Yeah.
And I'm making it up. It's like the way I would talk
exactly.
to you if I was your boss.
Yeah.
But if I have to remember the lines, I'm literally like I'm looking into my mind's eye for the lines, and that comes across on camera. And it is a phonier thing to do, to be saying words. So it's easy to look fake.
I almost wonder if you reframed it and like thought of it almost as a comedy set. Obviously, if you're crying, it's not a comedy set, but almost like they wrote these words for you to perform. You know how you write your own words for your comedy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't done acting in a while, but I almost wonder, like, just thinking about it, I'm like, I get what you're saying. And that's what always like made me feel a little bit like I'm not as great as some of these actors. Because some actors, it comes so naturally. They flip in a character and you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, I think that if I were to do a monologue at this point or an audition or something, I think I would have to think about it like a comedy set. Again, it doesn't have to be funny, but just the writer of that wrote this for me to perform.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's you, like what you were saying earlier, you seem to like to perform.
Yeah.
Think about it like a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
It's
does
still hard,
it's just
but
like a bit of a switching into a different mode.
I can't wait to see you in something.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That's awesome that you're doing it. And I saw the headshots and they look great. I'm like, oh, I need to get a headshot.
Oh my God. I have recommends for you.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'm surprised you were not already acting.
Yeah. I never knew like how to get into it. 'Cause you always hear about these things like, oh, people have agents, and a lot of comedians have agents. A lot of comedians do like even commercials.
Yeah.
And so I need to look into that. I need to look into that because I think that it would be fun. You know what it was is for a long time, acting felt more difficult because I was playing someone other than myself. And what I liked about even when I was doing on camera, like reporting, like journalism stuff and on camera stuff, hosting stuff, or now comedy, I feel like I'm myself, but I'm an exaggerated version of myself.
Yeah.
And I told this to an actor recently because, you know, whenever I'd have to like, oh, this is a person in the 1600s that's like French. It's like, I can't do accents. You know, it's stuff like that where that was never my strong suit. And I told this to an actor and I can't remember if it was a guy or a girl, but they were like, oh, well, just you can also get roles that are just like yourself, which is true, and I guess that's the typecast thing. But I always would see all these people that could flip into different characters, and I never was great with that. But I was okay at doing something that's like an exaggerated version of me.
Yeah, and there's lots of commercial work where you would just be playing someone your age with a similar life, and you just and I think I thought like, well, I'm not like some. I didn't graduate from theater school. I'm not like a high level actor. Why would I be able to act? But I was just talking to other comedians who do it.
Yeah.
They're like, commercial, when they're filming a commercial, they value comedic timing and understanding of comedy. So even if you're not like a thespian, if you show up and can get the jokes and get what's funny about it and how to bring that, that's enough. That's what like it's rare and they value that. So yeah, there's like you definitely should.
You're inspiring me.
Yeah, I feel like you would book so many commercials.
Oh, thank you. Okay, if you can give me tips after about like getting the right agent.
Yes.
Because I remember always hearing about that too. It's like, oh, some of these agents, they'll be your agent, but then you're paying all this money for other services with them. Yeah. And then people are like, okay, well, don't go that route.
The Actors Union has this like ethics thing that people are signed on to. So you can go online and find a list of all the agencies in Toronto area.
That's what you did, right?
Are ethically, like they're in good ethical standing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it'll list like if they're specifically for kids or just for stage. So you can find the ones that are film and television, and then you can just.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. I've been in a commercial before.
Oh my god.
But I was playing myself. It was a Mercedes-Benz commercial. Nice. Mercedes-Benz Canada. It was a Pride campaign.
Oh my god.
And my line was, "I'm a gay man." That was. Wait, maybe I said I'm Ryan and I am a proud gay man. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Could you guys give me the most obvious line?
It was fun. It was fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's sorry, I'm laughing, but that is actually like really cool.
It is cool, but it is funny too that was my line. I have it somewhere. It's probably on my Instagram or somewhere.
I would love if you sent me that.
Yeah, okay. You can literally insert it into the podcast if you want. Good. Yeah. Are we okay for time? I feel like I can just talk and talk. Yeah. Okay.
If we go over, I'll just cut a bit. But
okay. I'm loving this. I could keep going. Yeah.
Do you like Pride Month? Do you think like what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I have a bit on like Pride Month and the corporations and stuff. Yeah. I do like Pride Month because it is a time of like love and acceptance. And I've been in the parade. I remember in 2017, my brother worked for a company that had like a float in the parade or whatever. And that was the first time I actually had been in the parade. And it was like me, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, and we were all in the parade. And it's such a special moment for me because I'm just looking around and everyone is cheering you on and they're celebrating you. And my family was there with me and it felt really special. And so I think that I think that pride is important because as much as, we have rights a lot, and equal protections for a lot of things, we have to remember that pride is also about people realizing that they're supported and they're loved because they may not get that from, luckily I get that from my family, but some people don't. And I think that pride is important because you can find your community of people that will support you for being who you are. Yeah. And so I do like pride. I think that it's funny to see like some of these corporations turn gay for a month. I do think that's funny to me. And it's just because I can't imagine them doing it for like any other month. And that's like my bit that I do on it. I'm like, can you imagine like a foot fetish month? Nike's just like, just do it. Take them off. Let's see those toes. I have a bit like that is like the joke in my bit. That. And I'm like, it's true when you think about it. But at the same time, I get it. They're supporting people and they're supporting pride. And I just hope that money that a lot of these companies invest in the pride stuff goes back into the community in some ways so that they can support people. But I also understand why, there's people out there that may not fully understand pride and they may just see something on TV or like nudity or whatever, and they may be like, well, I'm not going to take my kids there, and they get upset. And it's like, I think that pride is a really great time, especially like the parade in Toronto. It's a great time for people to just know that they're accepted as they are and that they're loved for who they are. And as long as you're not hurting anyone, or being like creepy or whatever, like as long as you're just being yourself and it's a consenting adult relationship, then it's like, why not celebrate that? You know,
Yeah.
why not celebrate who you are? So I think that Pride Month can be a funny thing to like laugh at, but it's also it is important. It is
Yeah.
important.
I feel like it affected me not affected me. I feel like when I was younger, like we went out for the party of it, and I was
Yeah.
like a little bit more like political at that time, and it felt like an important thing.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of like forgot about it, or felt like, well, that's something, I don't know. It's like if there's like a Chinese parade, I'm like, I don't like, what does that have to do with me? But now being in comedy, there's so many like events around Pride,
Yeah.
and then when you're listening to like gay and trans comics like talking more about their experience, you're like, oh, this is like, it's interesting, and it's something that's like a big reality for people.
Yeah.
And I think the gay community did a lot for people in general with having this like acceptance movement that was very public.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it does like a lot of movies that might have been around someone like coming out of the closet or seeing a celebrity come out of the closet is, I think, on an emotional and spiritual level, like inspiring for people to be themselves in other ways.
Yeah, it is, exactly. And like creatively, there's been a lot, like even, you know, drag shows or like gay comedians or, you know, gay artists. I wish that there was more representation in Hollywood of people that are out and gay, and that it's not a huge thing, because I think that what happens is a lot of these celebrities, they come out as gay, as an example,
Yeah.
and that's their identity, is that they are the gay actor, and then maybe audiences can't see them in a straight role.
Yeah.
So that's tough, right? There's probably a lot more people than we even know out there that are living
Yeah.
happily, open to their friends and family, but maybe to the world,
Yeah.
they're not. And that's, I think, literally just comes down to how our audience is going to see us.
Yeah, because there's never going to be as many like.
Oops.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just wouldn't have the opportunity if you're stereotyped as gay male, then like they're not going to cast you in like The Notebook, you know. Whereas like that, like Ryan Gosling's role in The Notebook was like one of the best roles a young guy could have played at that age.
Mhm.
But you're not getting it if you're.
Yeah, maybe not. Like,
I'm not trying to insinuate that. Ryan
no, I know. I was
Gosling-
going to say, I don't think Ryan Gosling is on that list. But it's, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have more representation out there, but it's also like, I could never like hide who I am. I think that it would be really tough.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that it has to be my whole identity either.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've grappled with comedy, because, you know, I feel like this is like a really funny part about me, that I'm a fat gay guy. But then also it's like I've been trying to dabble in stuff that's pop culture related or just generally related to audiences,
Okay,
which has been fun.
If you were like blowing up as a stand-up, and then someone was like, "We want to make a sitcom, and you're the main character," what would like your sitcom show?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Like, what would be the plot line?
Yeah.
Or what would be the plot? I think it would have to be me trying to, and I'm gay in it.
You're any character you want to play.
Yeah.
You have to be like the main character, and you have to play them all the time.
Ooh, I think it would be funny to be like a Sex in the City, but like with a gay character added to it. And maybe I'm like the main character, but I go on all these like dates, because
Even if it be your Toronto dating life.
Yeah, or it could be New York too. Like, who knows?
Did you watch Girls?
Yeah.
That kind of a vibe, or like more Sex in the City?
Well, Girls, from what I remember, wasn't it a bit more raunchy?
Yeah.
They would like show stuff.
Darker, like it more like yeah.
I think I watched like
Negative?
the first season or second, like
That
2
feels
seasons.
very negative for you.
No, yeah, I think because I went back and I never watched Sex and the City, and like maybe a couple months ago I watched it for the first time, and I watched I think most of season 1. I maybe even finished it. I'm like, oh, this is still relatable today, and you know, there's some they show some like skin and stuff, but it's done in a like even the whole storyline can be relatable today. So I think it'd be fun to do something like that. Like, have you watched Overcompensating with Benny Skinner? Is that his last name?
No.
Benito. It's great. It's on Amazon, and it's about him going to college and being closeted, and all these stories of him figuring out his sexuality. And it's like, he's gay, but to everyone else, he's trying to come across as straight, and it's just so well done. It's a little campy, but I think it'd be fun to do something about like my dating life and like struggling with that, and then you're dealing with everything else, and then you have like this friend group and they have their side
Yeah.
characters, and
There's a lot of like brunch and coffee.
Yes.
Like, talking about the.
Yeah.
I think that's what was so appealing about that show. It was like there was what happened in the episode, but there was always like a conversation you could have, because it's like
Yeah.
dealing with like say like polyamory is this
Yes,
episode.
yeah.
Like he goes on a date with somebody who wants to be polyamorous. So then it's just the different characters weighing in, and then
Yeah.
everybody who watches the show. So it never stale dates.
No, and that's the thing with like dating, is that there's so many different types of people that have different, you know, character. Like I went on a date with a furry once without even realizing that he was a furry, and I have a bit on that, and I did it at Second City, and I don't know if I've done it since then. They loved it. Like it was funny. I would love to bring it back at some point.
How
but
did he tell you that?
he started meowing during the date.
No.
Yes. Like, and that's not even like really like exaggerated for the bit. It's like, no, like he legit, like at some point be like, oh, like you're looking good. And he's like, thanks. Meow. Like on the date, he was like, meow. So I have like a
Were you
bit.
scared?
I was like, wait, is he trying to do like a cute, like I don't know. He's trying to be cute with it. And then I started to realize, like, no, like, I think he, like, identifies as, like, I don't know if he identifies as a cat. And I'm like, well, I can't kiss him because he identifies as a cat. Like, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
You know? No, that was our only date.
When you're on dates, are you
No offense.
worried about getting murdered?
No.
A big part of my dating life, like, especially when I
Yeah.
date online, 'cause
Yeah,
I
yeah,
date
yeah.
straight men, is like, is this guy gonna
I mean, fair. No,
But
it's
sort of like you're on your way to the date worrying about getting murdered,
Yeah.
and then you get there and you're like, oh no, is this going to be awkward? And then I think it's just
No, I know what you mean, and I'll send all the details to like my friends usually in advance. Just you know, like oh, I'm
Yeah.
meeting this guy, da 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 da. But it's funny because I think it's Eliza, you know, the comedian. It's someone, and they have a bit on it
like
where
the
it's like
famous a lot, like
Yeah.
the singer. No.
yeah. I think that's her last name. I couldn't.
Grazer? No.
No, Sledgeling or whatever it is. Like you said, I think you said it
Okay.
on Netflix. She's a bunch of specials. She's hilarious, and I think she has a bit on that where she's like, I send all, or like my girlfriends will send all the details, and it's like, how's that going to help you? Like, it doesn't prevent like them actually doing the act of murdering you. Yeah, I guess they
It'll
know who
help
it
with
is, but you're still dead.
Later.
It's something like that, and I like I'll send all the details, but no, I think that is definitely a benefit or whatever. Like I think a lot of my friends who are girls, like women, like they do think about that, whereas with me I'm like no, like I don't think about it a ton, because you know, usually you feel the vibe with the person. Hopefully you can go out for
Yeah.
drinks, because some of these guys on these gay dating apps, they don't even want to go for a coffee or a drink or a walk. They just want to come over, and those I try to avoid, because I'm like, I want to at least feel your vibe.
Yeah.
How do you even know they don't smell? I want to like go on a walk or grab a drink at least.
Yeah.
And no, I usually feel pretty safe, which is good. Yeah. But that's interesting that I think that would be a common thing you think about.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you feel like there's not enough gay guys in the comedy scene?
Are there not enough gay
Like,
guys?
do you feel like a lack of gay dude friends, or like gay dudes you could flirt with?
In the comedy, like in the Toronto
like
scene?
when you're out doing mics. Like,
Ye-
there's never not a straight guy in the room. Like, if I
That's
want
so
male
true.
attention, like, I got it.
You know what's interesting is that's something where I don't know if I really want to get involved with a comedian in the scene anyways, because power to whoever can do it and will do it, but you see the same people, you know, like you see
never
the
get
same
away
people.
from them. Yeah.
You never get away with them. Like, you know, I'm saying, you know, because we've seen each other at mics, and like we always see similar people, right? So I think that if that were to ever happen, it would have to establish over time, and you can both be adults about it, even if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But like just like a hookup. No, but yeah, it's interesting. There aren't a ton of gay guys in the scene, and most of them aren't single. I feel like most of the gay comedians that I know in the Toronto scene have partners. I don't know many other gay single comedians. Right?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's always fun to flirt and stuff, but
What do you think is the ideal profession for a guy you would want to date?
ooh,
Is he a performer?
maybe. I think it could be. I think, you know, my ideal world, it's an NHL hockey player, you know,
I love that.
so
for
that
you.
I can make, you know, my dad proud and they can, I can't talk about hockey, but my husband can, you know, like my dad and my brother can talk to him about it. And then, you know, like they'll get along and all that. That would be kind of cool. You know what? I think a performer could be cool because I think you could hype each other up, right? I feel like when two performers come together and they both are not jealous of each other, they're very supportive, I think you can build each other up. So I'm open to that. But
Although
I also...
sports is a performance.
It is a performance.
I feel like those guys would relate to you a lot. Like,
yeah. Oh, I hope so. Yeah, you will. Yeah. You'll relate to me out there if you're watching.
I thought we could find... There's got to be gay dudes in hockey.
For sure.
It's 10% of every profession,
I think so. It's the whole like non-coming out thing. I like think about that sometime of like, it would be so cool to be like on a magazine cover, and not even like for the fame aspect. Like I think at that point I would have established my own career in comedy and entertainment, but he would be in professional sports and coming together and being like on a magazine cover and being like this couple that you don't usually see, because you don't usually see a gay athlete. Yeah. And then it's like a performer and a gay athlete, and they're their own performer. I just love the idea. I think that'd be really cool. Yes. Could be historic. But I think that it's...
And then a lot of athletes, when they retire, go into like commentating.
Yes.
So then you basically have the same job. Like,
yeah, he can come on my podcast. He can practice. Yeah. My show one day.
Did you see Taylor's interview on her husband's podcast? I've only watched clips of
boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
Maybe you're spoiling something. Who knows? Maybe husband. You never know.
Be husband.
I think so. And I think she's going to perform at the Super Bowl this year. That's my guess.
Yes.
And I think maybe she'll get a proposal then, and maybe the Chiefs will be playing. I'm calling it right now. That would be kind of cool. I think it would be nice to date someone, just on that note, is like that someone that's different than your field too, because you can talk to them and learn from them something that isn't your, right? Yeah. Like, what would you say? I want to flip it on. Like, what would you say would be your ideal profession?
My ideal guy isn't necessarily like a comedian, but I feel like he's like a storyteller and somebody who's very smart about other people.
Yeah.
So he might be in journalism or teaching or social work. Like,
yeah. I like that.
Yeah, highly social. And I think sometimes, I will convince myself because someone's attractive that I'm okay that they're more like, you know, some guys are just more nerdier, like right brain, like a certain type of thinking. And it's like, I will feel very lonely in that relationship. And I shouldn't try it again because it never works. No,
I get that. It's like you go for a certain aspect and you're like, oh, this will work out. And it's like, no, I don't feel fulfilled. Yeah. And I feel like you're a very empathetic person, right? And so having someone else that's like that. Also, it's nice when someone else is more social, or like maybe not even more social, but just as social.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty social. But sometimes you don't really feel like talking. Like, you've ever, like, you'll talk, but like, you've ever gone to a party and it would be nice if like your partner was kind of being the storyteller?
One of my favorite boyfriends I ever had, like, we partied a lot, but we'd always like break off at the party. And then we, like, when we went home at the end of the night, like, we would just like talk about all the different people we hung out with. Yeah. And it was like I'd gone to the party twice. Sometimes we'd like, he and I might have both hung out with you, and then we would just riff on like who we thought you were, what you might be like in different situations.
I love that.
And it was like there's just a certain socialness that is very important for me. And it's weird because I don't think a lot of women are like, or people who date men are like, socialness isn't a super male quality, but I think for me it is.
And it's important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I find that hot.
Yeah, someone that can work a crowd, or someone that can come into a party and you can be talking to someone and he can also be talking to someone and be good on his own. That's so attractive. Yeah. Like, you know, you don't have to be tied to my hip the whole time. We're going to come together at the end of the night, but we can both do our own social thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
We need to go on like a double date or something.
I would love to double date with you. I feel like we have to wrap this up now.
Okay.
But I'm so excited for us to find you this sports ball.
Yeah, sports ball. Yeah.
And or puck. Very social friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the double dates.
Do you have anything big coming up in the next month, or do you want to just plug like your socials?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Ryan Durgy. It's RyanDurgy. On TikTok as well. I like to post on there, and I usually post about upcoming shows on my Instagram story. And I'm competing in the Sorry comedy competition in September, which should be good. And I think that they have the final festival in London, Ontario, where I went to university and lived there for a while. Yeah, whoa, I forgot that. Wow. I'm excited for it. London's a cool place.
The Sorry competition?
Sorry. It's like SORRY with an exclamation mark, I think. So I'm competing, so wish me luck.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're going to kill it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks for having me on.